So we talked about cost volume profit analysis, CVP analysis. And there are certain assumptions. I derived 6 of the assumptions. And I said, following the name, cost volume profit analysis, we can say that if we are to start with the costs, the word costs, we can say that from item 2, cost comprises the fixed cost and variable cost. So cost volume profit analysis, we start from the cost, that it comprises fixed and variable costs. Then we will define what fixed cost is in the next item. We define what variable cost is in the next item. So fixed cost does not vary with output, variable cost varies with output. Then we can go and speak on the, so we are done with cost. Now 2, 3, 4, they are on cost. Then we can speak on volume. So volume, it says that it can be used to analyze a single or multiple product at a time. So volume goes with number 6. It can be used to analyze a single, that is one product or multiple product at a time. Then we go with the profit. Profit, we will say the factor affecting profit is volume. That's the profit for number 1. Then we can add number 5. It assumes a linear function, implying that it is it's used to sketch a line. That's basically what it wants to say. That it is used to sketch a line. That means it assumes a linear function. All right. So that is the CVP assumptions. So there could be some questions which will require the assumptions to be written, and these have simplified it for you. You should be able to remember the way I looked through to write the assumptions. 1, cost comprises the fixed cost, or cost comprises of the fixed cost and variable cost. That is number 1. Number 2, then you define each of the costs, each of the cost components. Fixed cost does not vary with output. Variable cost varies with output. Then we go to volume. It can be used to analyze a single or multiple product at a time. Then we go to profits. The only factor affecting profits is volume. The only factor affecting profit is volume. Then we can move on to the what's the name? We can move on to the linear function nature of the linear function nature of the concept. And I said that CVP analysis is used for decision making. So when we say decision making, we concentrate on a variable component of the costs. And the variable components of the costs are the material, labor, overheads, and that is the variable component of the costs. So we are going to concentrate more on that in computing that. Now we're going to look at certain formulas in CVP which are needed for us to satisfactorily compute our CVP. So let's look at some formulas. So we go with formulae or formulas. 1, we said we are going to find what is called break-even points. So when you say break-even point, I'll finish soon. I'll finish quite soon. When we say break-even points, there are 2 types of it. Break-even point in units and value. Break-even point in units and value. So break-even point in units, the formula to come to mind is fixed costs, let me write FC, over contribution margin. What is contribution margin? Contribution margin simply means contribution per unit. So contribution margin. Contribution margin means contribution per unit. So we'll be given our total fixed costs, and then we would go in and solve for our contribution margin. All right. The questions are easier. They are not quite difficult, but just that you have to think deep. and come out with certain of the principles you've learned so far. Yesterday, when we finished the class, I was looking at some of the questions I didn't touch that we should solve. When I look through it, they are not that difficult. The CVP questions. So we'll touch on as much as we can. Then we'll see what to do. So if the question then also says find a break-even point in sales, it is just the same fixed cost over the contribution margin. But this time I multiply by selling price. So it says sales value. So multiply by selling price. Then we can have what is called another way is I can find, if I don't want to multiply this by selling price, I can say BEP in sales value equals fixed cost over CS ratio. CS. Now I could see that here in the C over S, it is called contribution to sales ratio, which is equal to, the word is equal to, contribution to sales ratio equals contribution over sales. That's total contribution over total sales times 100%. Times 100%. So that is contribution, total contribution over sales times 100%. Or we can say contribution margin, which is for 1 unit, over selling price times 100%. Are you good? Are you good? So when I use, please respond. I want to see that you follow it.
Yes.
Are you good? So when I use, you see here, it is selling contribution times selling price. So when I use the CS ratio, it is the same as saying the contribution times the selling price. If I use this method, it is the same as using this. So I would not need to bring the selling price. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's it. Now we move on. We have what is called margin of safety. Margin of safety. Margin of safety in just simple terms. Let me use the acronym MOS to represent it. In just simple terms, wants to say that. In just simple terms, wants to say that how many more units can the business sell to make profits? Right? Because break-even point is in units is saying that or says that how many units break-even points in units says how many units should the business sell so that the total revenue minus the total cost will be 0. In other words, how many units should the business sell so that its total revenue will be the same as total cost? It will be the same as total cost. Total revenue will be the same as total cost. Total revenue minus total cost equals 0. How many units should the business sell? Right? So that it will not make any losses. It will not earn any revenue. How many units? Then a break-even point in sales value says those units the business would sell, how much revenue will it generate to the business? So we just multiply that value or that number of units by the selling price as the second formula. Or some questions, it will ask us to find a break-even point in sales directly. So to save us that trouble, we can use the fixed cost over the contribution to sales ratio. That one will give us a break-even point in sales value straight ahead. So we'll try that question and we'll see how both are going to work. So that is it. And contribution to sales ratio says that what proportion of our sales is made up of contribution? Contribution to sales ratio. What is our contribution that made up sales? In other words, So we can use contribution, which is the total, over sales. The last time I explained that when the business says sales, it is talking about volume. Volume. The same way when a business sells contribution, just contribution, it is also talking about what? Volume. So sales contribution, the business is talking about volume. Volume means large number of quantities sold or large number of contribution made on total units. But when the business says contribution margin, it's referring to cost per unit, contribution per unit for one. The same way when the business says selling price, it is referring to 1 unit, just one. But volume is talking about so many units. So we have to know the differences. Selling price is going for 1. Sales is going for a lot of units sold. So selling price for 1, contribution margin is for 1, contribution is for so many units sold. We have to take note of the difference because we are going to use them a lot in this very course. Margin of safety, MOS, tells us how many units should a business sell after break-even to make profits. That's basically what margin of safety is saying. So we go in with break-even. We have to go in with the budgeted sales. How many the business budgeted to sell minus the break-even point in units. So if the business has budgeted to sell 5,000 units and the break-even point is 1,500, it means the business must sell 3,500 to make profits because they've estimated to sell 5,000 units, but the break-even point is 1,500. It means that after the break-even point of 1,500, the business have to sell 3,500 to actually make profit. If it sells the first 1,000, it will make a loss. If it sells 1,500 for the first period, it's going to break even. At that point, it will neither make a loss nor make a profit. But anything after 1,500, the business will make profits. Are we good? Are we good?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we go. Hold on. I'm searching for the material. That's the link we'll be using always. So when it's time, just tap on it and join. Okay, so we'll be using we'll solve as much as we can. Margin of safety, break-even point. So we have the question can also say margin of safety in percentage. That will be the MOS, divide the MOS by the budgeted sales times 100%. The question could say margin of safety in sales value is simply the margin of safety you saw for here times the selling price. That's all. Are we okay?
Yes.
The question could also say find the budgeted profits. It would just ask to say find the budgeted profits. Budgeted profit is simply the margin of safety times the contribution margin. Why? Because it is this the margin of safety as the number of units we will sell after break even to make profits. Because when you sell to a certain number, we'll break even. So those units after the break even point to meet the budgeted sales are the number of units we would sell. Then when we said margin of safety in sales value, we just took the margin of safety, multiplied by selling price, we got sales. Now they are saying budgeted profit, and we know margin of safety talks about the unit sold before the for the business to make profits. So why don't I multiply by profits so that I can make it? I can have the profits, the budgeted profits. If you want to go a long way, we can go through to find the total revenue on the whole sales, find the total cost on the whole budgeted sales, then we'll deduct, and we can still also come to the same value of margin of safety times contribution margin. So why don't we just stick to this short form or formula, and that'll be fine. The question could say we should find a quantity of units when we are given a target profit. And I'm saying for that, you go to the budgeted break-even point in units. What's the formula? FC over CM, fixed cost over contribution margin. So all that we have to do is we will just write fixed costs. We will extend the line, then we will bring contribution margin below. Then we add to the target profits, TP. TP is the target profit. So if the question says we should find the number of units to be sold to achieve a target profit of the figure, the question will give us a certain target profit. When the question gives us a certain target profit, we will write down this formula. If the question says we should find the sales value, pay attention. The sales value to achieve a target profit, I can write the same quantity equals fixed cost plus target profit over contribution margin and multiply it by selling price. Or I can write the fixed cost plus target profits and divide it by contribution to sales ratio, which will capture what we were doing earlier. Are you good?
Yes.
So it's very simple. If there are any other thing else, we will discuss. I told you yesterday that I never saw anything high and low because I didn't sit to solve any of the questions. But when we're solving the questions, you realize that they've mixed the high and low questions built it into other questions. So this is the formula. Have I covered everything? Okay, if there are anything we haven't covered, we'll cover them when we start to solve. All right, so let's see a simple one first. A simple question first. Then before we start the main difficult ones. Yesterday I wanted to obtain a simple one to illustrate the concept before we started the main. Don't forget the formulas. Someone should read question 8. They are solving question 8. Yes. So question 8. That's what we are solving first. Yes, let's be quick.
Product X is produced and sold by
that's wrong approach. That's a wrong approach. You always read the requirement first.
Okay, so is someone else reading?
I'm listening.
Determine the contribution per unit of the product.
Okay. Why must you read?
What output must be sold?
Hold on. Why should you read the requirement first? We don't have time in exams. If you read that, determine the contribution per unit of the product. If you read this contribution per unit, what comes to mind? Yes, what comes to mind? Let's be quick. What comes to mind?
The contribution sales ratio.
Are you sure? Okay. So determine the contribution per unit. What must first come to mind is How do we find contribution? It is the set. It is contribution per unit. So it is the selling price minus the total fixed costs or variable costs or marginal costs, isn't it?
Yes.
That's what comes to mind. So that's what you have to read the requirement for. If you read the requirement, it says determine the contribution per unit. What must first come to your mind is how do we find contribution? I have to find the selling price, the minus variable cost plus or marginal cost. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I'm solving for contribution per unit. So in other words, if you go to the case study, right, or you go to the main information, prelude of information to the question, you are just searching for how to get a selling price. You are just searching for how to get a variable cost per unit to get the contribution per unit. And contribution per unit is the same as contribution margin. That's why I have to read the requirement first. So determine the contribution per unit. Then the question is, how do I find contribution per unit? I need selling price minus variable cost or marginal cost. No fixed cost is included in the contribution per unit computation. Now the next is what output must be sold in order to break even. So formulas are what must be running through your mind. Formulas or formulae, right? Must be what will be running through your mind. So let's try this. Question 8. Determine the contribution per unit. I've not even read the question, but immediately I see contribution per unit, I will say contribution per unit equals the selling price minus the variable cost. That's what I see. So I'll go and check the data, whether I will easily get the values. If I don't get the values, there are different ways I can find it. I can still find the total contribution or total contribution equals sales. Now I'm using totals minus the total variable cost. Then when I find the totals, I'll come and divide them. After I find the total contribution, I'll divide it by the number of units to get the contribution per unit. Are we okay?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and there are other methods I can use to find the contribution. So let's see which of these is inside. Which of the first or second is inside. If not, I'll based on their data, I'll have to find a contribution because that's what I need. And we also learned that when I have a contribution and I subtract fixed costs, I can get what? Net profit. Do you remember this? When we're preparing the income statement, marginal costing statement, when we found the contribution, we added all the variable costs. We then less fixed costs and we got net profit. There's another method also. When we're doing the limiting factor also, we made similar thing. All right, so let's go and read it. Now you can read the case study.
Product X is produced and sold by Y Enterprise. The price per unit of the product has been estimated to be 600 cedi per unit with a budgeted fixed cost of 8,250 Ghana cedis for the period. The enterprise has planned to sell 240 units of the product with an expected net profit of 4,950 Ghana cedis. Determine the contribution per unit of the product.
Okay, so here my question is the 8, okay, it's 8.250 thousand. Okay, that's fine. Here it is 8,250,000. Here is 4,950,000. So let's proceed. So what must we do now? The contribution per unit. Which of the formulas were we given? Which of them, of the 3 stages of, or the 3 different kinds of formula I've given with respect to computing the contribution? Which of them is reflected in the case study? They said there was a fixed cost of 8.250, and I'm to search for contribution. So contribution equals all these questions, all these, you write them on your the types of contribution formula, you write them on your question paper. right? So you are going to solve the main work. Now we've identified that as the last one because they gave fixed cost. So contribution okay. Let's see this. Now contribution minus fixed cost. This is the one which was stated per the question. They gave us a net profit. So contribution minus fixed cost equals net profit. Then let me make contribution the subject. It will be contribution equals net profit plus fixed costs. So what is the net profit figure? 4,950,000.
950.
I think it's 950,000
Yeah,
plus what is the fixed cost value?
8,250,000.
8,250.
Okay, 8,250,000. So what do we have in total? What do we have in total?
13
13,200.
30 million.
200,000.
So you see, this is the total contribution. But it wasn't any access to find the total contribution. The requirement is find the contribution per unit. So what we have to do is contribution, as I told you, always is in the name. Contribution per, let me write it as they said. Let me see whether you guys will get it. Contribution per unit. So what do we do? When they say contribution per unit, meaning you are bringing it to single values. So contribution per unit, what do we do?
contribution over 1 unit.
Yeah. So the contribution per unit means contribution over 1 unit. So for you to get it into single units, like for 1 unit, there's a contribution. It means you have to deal with total figures before you can reduce them to the single units. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So it means the contribution, you are going to use the total. Well, it is by virtue of the total, then you can arrive at the single. So total contribution over total units before you can get a contribution per unit. What's the total units used? 240,000. So this is 240,000. So when you cancel 240,000 cancel itself one, you've reduced it to 1 unit. That's what we want. Then how much will it go to into the 30,200,000?
55.
How much will it be? Come again.
55.
So now you could see we've reduced it to units. So now this is 55 cedis per unit. That's the contribution per unit. Meaning for every 1 unit, the business earns 55 cedis. So when you hear anything per unit, it means that you are going to first deal with their totals before reducing them to the per unit value. Are we okay?
Yeah.
All right, that's it. So we are done with the A. Let's go to the B.
Manuel, just a minute. I want to write.
Okay. So when you're done, let me know.
Also, No, please, I'm done.
All right. Let's proceed. So B, what is B? There's another method which I can use. Let me just write it. I'll not solve it, but let me write it. I can also say, right, that what was the selling price? Then, so let me do it this way. So what was the selling price? What's selling price minus variable cost gives me contribution margin. So selling price, and the question says the selling price is 600. So it gives me contribution, and contribution minus fixed cost gives me profit, net profit, NP. And the question says the net profit is, what's the net profit? 4,950,000. So I will say I'm reducing it to per unit. So 4,950,000 all divided by 240,000 units. It will give me the answer for the net profits. It will give me the answer for the net profits. Then also the first cost says it's 8,250,000. I also divide that by the total unit of 240,000. That also give me the first cost. Then when I have the net profit and the first and the contribution, I'll add both of them. I'll add both the net profit, just as the way I'm adding the net profit and first cost to get the total contribution. I'll add the net profit per unit, which I would have here. If it is MMM, I'll add, okay, let's try it. So 4,950,000 divided by 240,000. What do we have? What's the outcome? Please, let's be quick.
20.63.
So 20.63. Then the fixed costs, we have 800,250,000 divided by the total unit of 240,000. What do we have? Let's be quick.
34.38.
And it says that for us to find the contribution, we should add the net profit and fixed costs. So add both. Let's see what our contribution margin will be.
55.
So that's it here. That's another method here. So with this one, I'll just write A here against the contribution margin, because the question says is you find A. So someone can also use this method. Then we can find A. But this, I have to also fill in the blank of the variable cost. So I'll subtract 55 from 600. The difference will give me the variable cost here. So fill it for us. 600 minus 55, what do you have?
544.
So 544. This is another method. Then we less this. Then the fixed cost, so we put it in less brackets.
All you can do is 545.
Okay, that's fine. That's it. So you can use this method as well. You get the same value. So just choose the easier. So that's what I realized. The question, the high and low method stuff, it's in most of them. When I woke up, yes nights, I tried to sit down and solve some of them. We'll take them. So let's see what we do now. All right. Now let's go to the B. What does B say? What output must be sold in order to break even? So what comes to mind? Let's be quick. What comes to mind?
Break-even point in units.
Yeah, break-even point in units. So we go BEP in units. What's the formula?
The fixed cost over the contribution.
Contribution margin. Contribution margin. If you say contribution, it's talking about the total. Contribution margin the same as contribution per unit. This. If you plug in a total contribution here, your value will be different. So you have to find a contribution per unit. That's the contribution margin. Okay, what's the fixed cost?
8,250.
8,250,000 cedis over contribution per unit, or contribution margin is what? 55 cedis. So the cedi will cancel cedi. What do we have left?
150,000.
150. Don't say cedi so, because the cedi signs have canceled each other. So, and it's units. So 150,000 units. It means that the business must sell 150,000 units out of the 240,000, because they planned. When you hear the word planned, budgeted, here, this word, planned is budgeted, planned is targeted. So planned is the same as budgeted, is the same as targeted. They can use the word forecasted. So whichever word they will use, it just refers to the same thing. Forecasted. They can say planned, budgeted, targeted, forecasted, estimated. They are just talking about, because CVP is a decision-making tool. And decision-making, the values can keep changing till you realize it. So it's a futuristic, value they are talking about, 240,000. The business plan to sell 240,000 units. All right. So out of this 240,000, by the time they sell their first 150,000 units, they will sell. They will break even. And the remaining balance is called 90,000. Then the remaining 90,000, which they will sell after the 240, they will make profit. So this 90,000 is the margin of safety. Because when they sell 250,000, the first 250,000 units they will sell, they will break even. When they sell 100,000, when they first sell 50,000, they'll make a loss. When they sell 70,000, they'll make a loss. 100,000, they'll make a loss. 120, 130, they'll make losses. 140 loss. But immediately they sell 150,000 units, they'll break even. They'll neither make a profit nor a loss. But when they sell anything above 150,000, that is 51,000, they will start making profit, but a small profit. 152, 160, 170, 180, 190, they will start making profit till they sell the 240,000 units. So the margin of safety is the difference between the planned sales and the break-even point. In other words, how many units should they sell to make profit? 90,000. Are you good? Are you good?
Yes.
Good. Now, assume the question said, find the break-even point in sales value. So you can just write BEP here into bracket sales. Then you pick your break-even point is BEP times selling price. Simple. So what is your BEP? 150,000 units. What is your selling price? 600. Are you good?
Yeah.
All right. And assuming the question also asked you straight away, find the break-even point in sales value. That was a straight away question. They didn't say we should find the units. In sales value, you just say fixed cost over contribution times selling price. Simple. Then here you plug in all the values. The contribution of 8,250,000 over the contribution margin of 55 cedis times 600 cedis selling price. Or we can say equals fixed cost over contribution to sales ratio, where the CS ratio equals the contribution margin, which is per unit, over the selling price, which is also per unit. So what is the contribution? What is the selling price? So what is the contribution? 55. What is the selling price? 600. So somebody should divide the 55 by 600. Let's see what we will have.
0.09.
0.09. Now, plug in the values of the FC over CM times selling price, which is FC is 8,250,000 over contribution margin is 55 times 600. Let's see what the value you have. Let's be quick. Yes. What do we have? FC is 8,250,000 over the 55 cities times 600 cities, which is a selling price. What do we have? That is this formula. This formula. The one in the rectangle. What do we have? 8,255,000, which is the FC, over the 55 cities, which is the contribution margin, times the 600 cities. What do we have?
90 million.
Yeah,
So we have
90 million.
90 million here. Now watch. I'm using the FC over sales ratio. What is the FC? 8,250,000, right?
Yeah.
What is the CS ratio? 0.09. What do we have? Let's be quick. 8,250,000 over 0.09.
9166 points.
So it's approximately 90 million, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's because
91.
Yeah, so that is approximately. It's because of the decimals. Mostly they should be the same. Do we get it?
Yes.
It's because of the decimal fraction. They should be the same. Did you approximate it? The 0.09, did you guys approximate it?
Yes.
That's why. Mostly they should be the same. All right, so that's it. Let's solve the B. We have some other questions to solve.
We are done with the B.
Okay, we are done with the B. So let's go to the C. The C says, what extra profit? In other words, what profit would you make? Now, these are trial questions. So let's see how it goes so that we can solve more complex ones. The absorption questions, please try hands on them. We've solved it, so you have to. I don't want to resolve those we've done, similar ones. So C, it says what? What extra profit will arise from the sale of a further 350 units? So let's see. We can, okay, we can say quantity. We will pick a formula which has a profit in it, equals fixed costs over CM plus the target profit TP. Then the question says, what extra profit will arise? In other words, what profit will arise from the sale of a further 3750? So the question gave us the quantity of 3750. We have the fixed cost to be 8,250,000. We are searching for the target profits. The contribution margin is 55. Are you good?
Yeah.
So we make this the subject, the profit the subject. So we're going to have 55 times 3750 equals 8,250,000 plus target profit. Unless, so here, what will 55 times 3750 give us?
It will give us 206,250.
250, yeah.
So we make target profit the subject. So 206,250 minus 8,250,000. What's the difference?
It will be 8 million.
Mm-hmm.
8,004,307.
Hold on. What extra profit will arise from the sale of a further 375? No, this is a different approach. So in other words, if the business should sell a further 3750, hold on. If the business should sell a further, so additional 3750, what extra profit will be available? Okay. If the business should sell, what's the name? Okay. I get it. So watch. We can do it in two ways. I've gotten a question. We can do it in two ways. So I'll use the same approach, but different way. Watch. So the C. What extra profit will arise from the sale of a further 3750? Are you good? So I can say that extra profits is simple. Extra profits will be, what is the budget? When you say budgeted profits, what are the use of budgeted profits?
Budgeted profits. We
The
said
formula.
Is it using the margin of
break
safety?
even points per unit times selling price.
No. Look at the budgeted profits. This one. Margin of safety times what? Selling price.
Ratio. Marginal.
Madam. Margin of safety times selling price. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Good.
Is that not calculated as 150 times the selling price?
No.
Hold on. So the question says, what extra profit will arise from the sale of a further 375? So the extra profit here, we'll just pick the extra sale of 3750. In other words, they are going to sell 240,000. I'll use another method as well. They're going to sell 240,000, and then they will sell an extra 3750. So it's saying that this extra or further sale of 3750, right? What profits will they earn on it? What extra profit will they earn? So simply the extra profit is equal to 3750 times the contribution margin. Do we get it?
Yes.
They just want to know the extra profit. This is one method. I have another method. We will use that one also. So what do we have?
So what's the contribution margin?
So it's 3750, yeah, times 55 cedis. What do we have?
206.
250.
If we want to use a long method, a very long method, this is going to be the quantity equals the FC plus the target profits. The target profit we want to have, the extra profit over the contribution margin. Then we can first use the 240,000, which they want to sell. So we say 240,000 here equals the 8,250,000. We should get the same figure. 250,000 plus the target profit we are going to find over the contribution margin of 55. Then we'll multiply the 55. We multiply the 55 by the 240,000 units. equals the 8,250,000 plus the target profits. So what does 55 times 240,000, what does it give us?
No, why are we using the 240,000?
Yeah, I'll explain. Let's finish it. So 55 times 240,000, what does it give us?
1,320,000.
1,320,000
13 million.
minus 8,250,000.
No,
What do you have?
13 million.
Okay, 30,200,000.
Yes.
So what do we have? 30,200,000. Whenever you are using your calculator, you have figures like watch 30,200,000. And you have something like 82,50,000. All these have 3 zeros, which are the same. The ends have 3 zeros. So you only take the 13,200 and you subtract this. You don't compute all the zeros so that you move quickly. So, but when you're writing the answer, you have to bring the 3 zeros at the end. So what do we have?
4,950,000.
So 4,950,000. Please pay attention. I'm using this one is a long method. You get the same answer. So we'll first find how much total profit the business will make on selling all the 240,000 units. If the business should sell all the 240,000 units, this should be the target profit. Now, I'm using this same approach, this same method. But here it will sell extra 3,750. So this 240,000 here, right? I'll make it 240,000 plus the extra 3,750 equals the 8,250,000 plus the target profits, all divided by the contribution margin of 55. Then I'll say the 55 times 240,000. So when I added 240,000 to the 375, I'm going to have 243,750 equals 8,250,000 plus the target profits. Are you good? Are we good?
Yes.
So 555 times the 243,750.
13 million.
Mm-hmm.
406,000. 406,000 to
Okay.
250.
250 minus the 8,250, 123 equals the target profits. Mm-hmm.
We are getting 5,156,250.
All right, that's the target profits. So this new target profits, it is when the business is dealing with, it is when the business has added, is selling the extra. Assuming the business is selling 243,750, this is the value the business, this is the profit the business will earn. And when it's selling only, what's the name? 240,000, this is what the value earns. So the difference. So the new target profits minus the old target profits. What's the difference? That's a 5,16250 minus the 4,950. What do we have? Let's be quick. What do we have?
206,250.
206,250. It's the same here. Have you seen it?
Yes.
So if you want to go through this long process, by the time you finish with this, I'm done with my exam. Then I'll leave the exam hall and leave you there to still continue worshiping the ancestors. Are we good?
Yes.
And this question, they can give it, what extra profit will arise from the sale of a further 3? They might even give it 4 marks. Because probably the examiner has not even thought about this shortcut. So because he knows you might go through long process. Meanwhile, you just use this simple method and the extra profit. So that's it. That's it. All right, let's move on to another. So we are done with question 8. We are done with question 8. Let's get another thing else and deal with. So let me clear everything. So we said the C was extra profits equals the 3750 times 55. Times the contribution margin. So 3750 times 55. What do we have? 206,250. This is extra profits. All right, let's go to the next. So you're done with question 8. Let's see what we have for question 9. There are more difficult ones anyway. So someone should read that question 9 for us.
It's saying we should calculate for each of the branches the number of units to be sold to break even. I make a profit of 144,000 per month. And B, state which branch would suffer the larger loss if sale fall by 100 units below its break-even point.
All right, so what comes to mind? Now, there was a mistake here. See, this branch X. This should be branch Y because it says calculate the branches for the number to be sold. So, and let me see what it said. Hold on. See, it says, okay, read it, start reading from the top.
Belton Limited produces a single product known as Bolts in 2 branches X and Y. The following trading
hold on. It should
results
be
for
X.
2 months.
Hold on. It should be X and Y, but it wrote X and X. Are you good?
Okay. Yes.
So it should be Y down there. Okay, continue.
In 2 branches X and Y, the following trading results for 2 months are given for the 2 branches in 2 months. Branch X, June 2023, sales in units 810, value 583,200, cost of sales 561,600, profit is 21,600. In July 2023 for branch X, sales in units 960, in value 691,200, cost of sales 615,600. Then the profit is 75,600 Ghana cedis.
Oh, don't mention the figures.
In branch Y, okay. In branch Y, we have sales in units, sales in values, cost of sales, and profits.
Okay, continue. They're required.
Okay, required.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming. I'm using my pamphlet. So. Okay. Required. Calculate for each of the branches the number of units to be sold to 1 break even.
All right. So first, AI. Break even point. We can say branch X. We can say branch Y. So break-even point in units. What comes to mind? How do you approach it? Break-even point in units. How do you approach it? So let's say this branch X. Yes, let's be quick. Let's be quick. How do you approach it? Break-even point. What next?
So with break even, we are looking for the fixed cost over the contribution
Good.
per unit.
Or contribution margin. What do you do next? In their question, were we giving fixed costs?
No.
We were not.
Good. So our duty would be to go and find a fixed cost. How do we find a fixed cost? Now, watch. It says, Bolton Limited produces a single product in 2 months. Following the trading results for 2 months are given for the 2 branches in 2 months. So this sales unit here, this sales unit figures here, they are the same as the production unit. So they produce 810, they sell 810. Are you getting it? But we need a fixed cost. So what we ought to do is this. We need to use high and low method to get the variable costs. Then when you get the variable cost per unit, we will then go and find the fixed cost. Are you good?
Yes.
We'll then go and find the fixed cost. Then when we get the fixed cost, we will then come and find the BEP in units. That's what you have to do. So cost data, we will say using high and low method. Using high and low. I'll do only one branch. Then you guys will go and solve the other branch. So I'll solve for only one branch. High and low method. Using high and low method. So what do? We will say June. So June. So we'll just say high June. Right? This is June. So high. We have here as June. Between June and July, which one had a higher values? The units for branch X.
July.
So July units, then the costs. So what is the unit for July? We have 960. What is the costs?
Is it the cost or the volume?
The cost. The cost is the cost of sales.
So 600.
615,600.
That's it. Then we go to the low. The low is the next June. How many units? 810.
810.
This 810 figure. What's the total cost?
561,600.
Then we find the differences. This is 0, this is 5, this is 1. Difference. Then what will this have as? 4, 5. This is 54,000. Is it 54,000? 615,600 minus 561,600. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah.
54,000.
So we have to find the variable cost. The variable cost per unit equals the change in costs. You can write this in full. Over change in units. What's the change in costs? 54,000. What's the change in units? 150 units. What's the variable cost per unit?
360.
So you say 360 cedis. Don't forget, we are sorting for the first cost. So this cost of sales we are looking at, this cost of sales figure we are looking at, this cost of sales figure, this guy, it has a component of variable cost. It has a component of fixed cost. So we need a fixed cost component of that cost so that we can use it to compute the break-even point. If we use the entire cost of sales, we are wrong. We are wrong. Because it has a component of variable, a component of fixed. We need a fixed cost component. Are you good?
Yes.
Let's continue. So that's it. That's the fixed cost per unit. Now we go and find the total fixed cost. Which formula will give us the fixed cost? Is the total cost formula or total cost function? So what? Let's use the high values. If you are going with the high, what's the total cost for the high? It's 615,600 equals fixed cost plus what's the variable cost per unit? 360. What is the high unit? What is the high unit? 960. So multiply it for me. Mm-hmm. 360 by 960. What do we have?
345 600.
600.
345,600. Then we say 615,600 minus 345,600 will be equal to the fixed cost. So what's the difference?
270,000.
270,000 cedis equals the fixed cost. That's it. So now, having gotten the fixed cost, we can come up here. So I would say what I did down was workings, right? So there's workings. So what is the fixed cost? 270,000. What's the contribution margin? That one will also require another computation. So let me do it here. Contribution margin is very simple. We have sales. Okay. So watch. How do we find contribution? Just like what we did earlier. How do we find contribution? It's equal to the sales minus the what? Variable cost. Is that correct?
Variable cost. Yes.
So contribution con equals sales minus the variable cost. All right. So what is the sales figure? So sales value is what? 583,000, right? So C equals 583,000. Oh. We can solve it on the other page, but let me solve it on the other page. On the next page. So we are solving for contribution. So contribution equals, right? Sales minus variable costs. Then we are searching for contribution margin. So we'll say that what is the total sales? Total sales contribution. Total contribution. Total sales is hold on. Okay. Total sales is what? 583,200, right?
Yes.
583,200. 583,200. All divided by what? I'm using the low sales.
Variable. What's the variable?
No. Sorry. Okay, total sales is, hold on. Let me try this. Total sales is 583,200. That wants to be the variable cost. Variable cost, we got 360, right? Let's multiply it by the
Yeah.
quantity of 810. I'm using the low values. What do we have?
We have
291 600.
Come again.
291,600.
Okay, so I'm looking for the contribution per unit. Per unit. How do I calculate it?
That will be fixed cost.
The 291 is just for the 36810.
Don't worry. I'm looking for the contribution per unit. How do I calculate it? 291,600 contribution over the unit of 810. What do we have? What do we have?
360.
360. So this is a contribution per unit.
360.
This is a contribution per unit. If you use the high methods also, we should get the same. So let's try and see. The high. High, what's the sales for the high? These low values. High sales is what? 691,200.
Okay.
691,200. Right? Minus 360. Multiply by, we should get the same one. 960. What do we have? Come again.
360 by 960 is 345,600.
Okay, so just subtract everything. 691,
Okay.
200 minus 360 multiplied by 960.
Okay, it's 345,600.
345,600 divided by 960. The units, contribution per unit. What do we have?
$960.
345,600 divided by 960. You got 360?
Yeah, 360.
It's the same. So whether you use the high and low, you get the same. So this is a contribution per unit, the same period. So let's continue. You choose one of the months. Whichever one you choose, you get the same value. So the contribution per unit is 360. So we go back to the formula. We say break-even points in units equals the first cost over contribution margin. What is our first cost? Our first cost, what value did we obtain for the first cost? Can you all see it? Page 30. Page 30. Our first cost was 270,000, right?
Yeah.
So we have here 270,000 cedis over 360 cedis. What do we have?
750.
$750.
750 units.
Yeah. So that's 750 units. Sorry, not cedis. 750
Please,
units.
I want to get something here. Sorry
Okay.
for taking that. The contribution, I don't know whether it's per unit that we wrote there. There are 5, 8, 583,200. After
Uh-huh.
we are getting the 360 times the 810, then we got 291,600. But
Mm-hmm.
in the with you wrote 583,200 minus into bracket 36 times the 2 times. So I thought maybe you are supposed to deduct it from the sales.
Yeah. So you multiply all this.
But we didn't deduct it.
We deducted this. You do all together on your calculator. It will give you 291,600.
No. It's this one alone that is giving the 291,600. 360
Okay. Subtract
times 8
everything. Okay.
will
So
give
subtract
you.
everything. Let's
So 8, 5, 8. Yes, that's giving us the same figure.
okay. So that's it. Are you good? So the
Yes.
break-even point units is what we have just solved. So you write 750 units. So therefore BEP units equals 750 units. That's all. Don't write CD so because the CD there will cancel the CD there. So we left with units. That's it. Now calculate it for each. So you do this for branch X. You do for branch Y. You can finish I and II all for X. Then when you finish, you do I and II all for Y. Are you good?
Yes.
All right. So calculate for each of the branches the number of units to be sold to make a profit of. So which formula comes to mind? Make a profit of 144,000 per month. Let me give you the formulas.
Fit.
The formula which we wrote. Which of the formula comes to mind for the II?
Yes.
Let's be quick.
Break even. Contribution.
Read it. Calculate for each of the branches the number of units to be sold to make a profit. So you have to search for a formula with a profit in it, target profit. This profit is called target profit. So search for a formula which has a profit in it so that I can solve for the profits.
Budgeted ratio. Marginal ratio.
Okay, that is ideal, but
Fixed cost plus target profit over contribution per unit.
yeah. You can also use the budgeted profit. So we'll try that. We'll try what she said and yours. So we can use these two methods. We'll see the easier one. Inez, I'm going to finish quickly because of the time. So this II, we can use this method. We can use that method. All right. So let's use both and see how it goes. Then that is so you have to solve similar questions which have the same approach. So II still on branch X. So let's use the margin of safety one. Budgeted profits equals here. Don't use MOSO. Don't use margin of safety. Just use quantity times what? Contribution margin. MOS will not give you this value. So you can use budgeted profit, just like we did the extra profits. Do you remember?
Yes.
Just like we use the extra profit, you can use that method. Budgeted profit equals quantity times contribution margin. Then we go. It says the budgeted profit is how much? 144,000. So 144,000 equals. It says we should find the number of units, right? What is our contribution margin? 360. So we divide both sides, or we divide the other side by the 360. Remember, this is CD sign, this is CD sign equals quantity, right? So the CD sign, we're dividing both sides by the 360. So the CD signs will cancel each other. What do we have?
400 units.
So the quantity equals 400 units. When you use the target profit, you get the same thing. Should we try that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's go. I'm using Violet. So target profit is quantity equals fixed costs over CM plus TP. Then we are solving for quantity. What is our fixed cost? 270,000, right?
Yes.
Plus, what is our target profit? 144,000, all divided by 360. So compute everything on the calculator. What do we have? Well, I don't think it'll be the same.
1150.
Wait, 1150. Make a profit of 114,000 per month. 114,000 per month. Okay, 1150 units. Multiply by contribution margin 360. 1150. Okay. So let's adopt the second one. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. I get it. Let's adopt the second one. I get why this one we didn't have that figure. I get it. So let's adopt the second one. Here, the first one, it was an extra sales. Are you getting it? So an extra sales, but this is the constraint is within the fixed cost constraint. So let's adopt the second one. The second one is the correct answer. So you use the same approach for the Y. Let's go to the B. So let's adopt the second approach. Okay, let's go to the B. The B says, state which branch would suffer the larger loss if a sale fall by 100 units below its break-even point. So basically, this is more of like the margin of safety. State which branch would suffer the larger loss if a sale fall by 100 units. Okay. Okay. So let's see. So use the other approach. So if a sale fall by 100, which loss is a very simple one. So B, if a sale fall by 100, which sale are they talking about? So if a sale fall by 100 units below its break even, so we learned that. Now, what was the break even point in units?
Is
150,000, right?
yes.
So the 150,000 is when the business sells those number of units, it will break even. So they say that if a sale fall by 100 units below its break even point, so the 150,000 minus 100 units, meaning 100 units, if they don't sell 100 units, right? If they're not able to reach the 150,000 units, right? But they go to somewhere like 149,900, where they need only 100 to make up 150,000, and they don't have the 100. So, in other words, if the business sells below 150,000 units by a shortage of 100 units, what will be the loss? So this is what will be. We'll say target loss. will be equal to the 100 units which will be sold, which will fall by the contribution, because this contribution will give us what? 36,000 loss. Then we'll do the same for the X, the Y. Then we compare the losses. Then we'll give our comment. States which branch would suffer the larger loss if sale by 100 units below its break-even point. That is what I can do. Or I can say the 150,000 is what they have to break even, right? Minus 100. All these times the 360. That is also another method. Here, I'm finding the total unit they will sell times the 360. So I'm going to have here about 149,900 times 360. Are you good? Are you good?
Yeah.
If they sell 150,000, they will break even. And he said that what if there's a shortfall of 100? In other words, they are not able to sell 150,000 by 100 units. Then it means they will sell 149,900. And we learned that if the break even is 150,000 units, it means all units sold from 1 to 149,999, the business will make losses until it sells 150,000 units to break even, where it will not make any losses, not make any profit or revenue. That's what we are saying. So now it says that there's a shortfall of 100 units. So if the 150,000 that it has been short by 100, it means they've sold 149,900. Are you getting it? Are you getting it?
Yes.
Good. So when we multiply this, the total figure we obtain, we can use the same method for the branch Y, the total figure, and we find a difference. When we find a difference, it will be the difference between this total loss and the next one for the branch Y. We'll get the same value. So you should do the branch Y, and the branch Y, if you will go by this simple method. So the branch Y to you say target loss, then you multiply the 100 shortfall by the contribution per unit. Then you look at the bigger, the greater one. It says state which branch will suffer the larger loss. So this, if the target loss for branch X is 36,000, when you find the contribution margin and you get to the target loss for branch Y, then you just make it 100 times the contribution margin. The value you obtain, you compare. The one which has a greater loss, you just say is branch X or is branch Y. Are we okay?
Yes.
That's it. So you should do the branch X. We are done. Let's pick another question. We will finish. We'll close soon. So let's look at another question. The break-even. So we've solved 2 break-even questions. There are more. I saw more in them. There is one which calls. There is one. It requires something increasing by. That one is quite. Hold on. Hold on. I saw another one. So today we end break-even. You should be able to attempt. There is one which is quite technical. Okay. The 25. The 25. The 25. Okay, someone should read it. Yeah, someone should read it. Oh, who is reading?
What is the contribution per unit?
What comes to
A.
mind? What comes to mind?
Contribution per unit.
Yeah. I mean, so how do you approach it? That's what I mean.
So we'll look at the question to see if we have all the variables that we can get the contribution per unit.
That's all. So what's the formula for contribution per unit? What's the formula?
Selling price
Sales minus
variable cost.
variable.
Okay, sales minus variable cost when it is the total, right? So first we can find the contribution. So contribution equals the sales, the total. And so whenever you mention sales, you are talking about the total. When you say selling price, you are talking about the per unit, single volume with single value. So sales minus variable cost. So let's solve it quickly. Let's go to the data, the case study. So start from the top. Let's be
Power
quick. Let's be quick.
Limited is a small manufacturing business which has prepared the following monthly budgeted figures for an average month. Production volume, selling price per unit, sales, variable cost, fixed cost, and profit. What is the contribution per unit?
Mm-hmm. So how do we find it?
So we have our sales figure of 153,000. Then minus our variable cost of 63,000 to get our contribution.
Okay, so 153,000 minus variable cost of what? 63,000. What is our contribution? Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes, 90,000.
Good. Then it says we find contribution per unit, not total contribution. So what do we do?
You
We
divide by
divide
the
it by the production.
That's correct. So contribution per unit is the same as the contribution margin. So it is the contribution total over the units, total units over the units. So we have 90,000 cedis is the contribution, is the money. Divided by total unit is what? 18,000, correct?
Yeah.
What do we have?
Yes.
5.
5.
5.
5 cedis per
Yes.
unit.
Good. 5 cedis per unit. That's what I wanted. 5 cedis per unit. That's it. That's the contribution per unit. You're done. That is A. A is down. Let's go to B.
Determine the contribution to sales ratio.
So contribution to sales ratio. What do we do? We can take the total figures. All right. What is the total contribution? 90,000. What's the total sales? Total.
153,000.
153,000. Also, you see this. What's the final figure?
0.59.
You approximated?
Yes, approximately.
0.588.
0.588. So 0.59. So 0.59 times 100%, which will give us what? 59%. I'm leaving it in decimal fraction before multiplying by 100, before multiplying by percentage, because when I'm doing the CS ratio, I'll use 0.59. I'll not use 59%. Are you good?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I'm done. Let's see. Let's look at C.
What is the number of units in value that FAR Limited needs to produce and sell each month in order to break even?
Okay. How do we start with it?
So we are looking for the break-even point in units and in sales.
Break-even points. Okay. Let me write this one down. But what I'm going to do, we might require to be getting approximate value. So this 0.59. Give me all the values you got. 4 decimal places.
So it's a 0.5.
0.2 53521.
82.
Okay, let me maintain it this way. 4 decimal places. So 0.5882 times 100%, which will give me 58.82%. Okay, let me maintain because of what you are going to solve. 4. Okay, so what do we do? What number of units and value that Alpha Limited needs to produce and sell each? Okay, to break even. So what do we do? Break even, what do we do?
So break-even point in units. We have for the fixed cost over the contribution per unit.
All right, or contribution margin. So what's the first cost? Let's be quick. What's the first cost?
40,000.
What is the contribution margin?
That was 5.
It's 5 cities, so
5 cities.
it's 5 cities per unit. So what do we have? What's the break-even point in units?
800. Sorry.
8,000 units. 8,000 units. Then it says we should find it in units and what value. So break-even points in value equals, I can say first cost over CS ratio. So 40,000. What is the CS ratio? 0.5882. What do we have? Let's be quick.
68,000.
68,000. Did you divide by 0.5882?
Yeah, so it's 68.
68,004.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, or break-even point in value. Break-even point in value equals first cost. Wait. Break-even point in value equals the break-even point in units.
Times the selling price.
Good. Times the selling price. So the break-even point in units? 8,000. The reason why you have to state formula is because you'll get a mark for the formula. What's the selling price?
8 cities, 50 pesos. 8
Good.
points.
What do you have? What do you have?
68,000.
That's it. See, it's the same thing. And we got a 4 because of the approximation, 0.588. Are you getting it? If you should make it in 5 decimal places, we'll get exactly 68,000. We will not bring the 4. So it's the same. You can use any of the methods. Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you writing?
Yes.
Okay, so let's solve the E. Then we end here. There's another one. That one, when we meet our next meeting. Hey, when are we going to meet? We have to meet again. No?
Yes.
Let's meet on Friday, dawn, around
Yeah,
this time.
that'll be
Then
fine.
we'll solve that last question. But I think there are several of them in. We'll solve that last question and we'll start with budget. Because that we have budget, we have variances.
So please, you mean Friday dawn, as in Saturday morning?
No.
No.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. Or
Okay.
you can't make it. You have to
It's
make
okay,
it.
it's fine.
Because this Friday, this today. Hey, do I have class? Today is Thursday, right?
Yes.
Do I have any class with some group? I don't know. I'll have to check the timetable. I have to check the timetable. But I have a class with. If I don't have a class with any group, I'll see if we can meet this evening.
That will be fine.
All right. Where are we? Let's go to the E.
Hello, sir, please.
Mm-hmm.
The second formula for the BEP in value.
You didn't, okay, you write it, right? Check it.
Fixed cost over contribution.
No, the second. Is it BEP unit times selling price?
Yes. Yes.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Let's finish. This one difficult. E. Let's do the E. Yes, we're going to E. Read.
The managers are thinking of installing a new machine, which will increase fixed costs by 8,000 per month, but will reduce variable costs by 10%. If production remains at 18,000 units per month, what will be the profit if this is implemented, and what?
All right. So what do you do? What do we first do? Mm-hmm. When they install a new machine, it will increase fixed cost by 8,000. So new fixed costs. New fixed cost is equal to the old fixed costs plus the increment, right?
Yes.
Yes.
What is the old fixed cost?
40,000.
40,000. What is the increment?
8,000.
8,000.
Which will give us what? 48,000. Right? Per month.
Yes.
But will reduce variable costs by 10%. So what new variable costs? New variable cost will be equals the old variable costs minus reduce. There are two ways I can solve the old variable costs. So I'll say minus into brackets old variable costs minus into brackets 0 point. Yeah, 10% of the variable costs. Let's use this method. So what's the old variable cost? 63,000. The 10% of variable costs. What do we have?
6,300.
Please, is there a reason why you're multiplying it by the 10%?
Yeah, but there's a shorter method. I'll use that also. See, you have to find 10% of the 63,000 to give us the amount by which the variable cost will be reduced. So what do we have here? There's a shorter method. I will use that one.
56,700.
So this is a long method. Let's look at the other method. Or we can say that if the variable costs, if that's not what I'm going to do, but if the entire variable cost is 100%, and it says that it will reduce by 10%, right? What will be the new variable cost? What will be the percentage for the new variable cost?
90%.
90%. So I'll say that, I'll just say the 63,000 times 0.9, which is the same as the 90%. What do we have?
The same thing.
That's easier.
5,600.
Because it will reduce. It will reduce. So just to show why I got the 0.9, I can do it this way. I can say 1.0.1. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
The 100% is 1. The 10% is 0.1. So 1 minus 0.1 will give me the T 0.9. So 63,000 times 0.9, which will give me the 56,700. So whichever method you use, but mostly this is preferred, the second one, because it's easier or it's quicker to arrive at. Are we okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let's continue. So it says, but will reduce variable cost by 10%. If the production remains at 18,000 per month, what will be the profit if this is implemented, and what will be the new break-even point? So what will be the profit if this is implemented? Right. What do we do? So because it says what will be, come again?
No, please.
Okay. So let's see what we're going to have. What will be the profits if this is implemented? So to find a profit, now they didn't give us any units. So we have to find different ways to compute profits. So we can say that we have sales minus variable costs, which will give us contribution, right? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
sales,
please.
we can say sales. Should I do vertical calculation? Okay. So sales minus the variable costs will give us what? Contribution. Then the contribution minus fixed cost will give us the profit, the first one. Are you good?
Yes.
That is one method. What will be the profit if this is implemented? Or we can also use the method we were using. We can also go by the same method we were using. So let's first solve this, whether it will give us a solution. What is the sales value? 153,000. What is the new variable cost?
5,600.
5,600. Let's try and see. What will be the figure? What's the contribution? 153,000 minus 5,700.
414,000.
9,600.
153,000 minus 156,700 minus 5,600.
9,600.
9,600. Then we'll say contribution minus fixed costs equals profits. So contribution is 9,600. What is the fixed cost? The new one, 48,000. What do we have?
4,800.
4,800. That's it. Are you good? So that's the profits. I was trying to see if another method will give us the same solution. If it doesn't, we just adopt one. So let's say it says if production remains at 18,000 units per month, what will be the profit if this is implemented? So let's say the quantity is 18,000. So I'm using this. Quantity equals the FC plus the target profit over contribution margin. I'm using this also. So here, because the values have changed, you have to find a new contribution margin. Is that correct?
Yes.
We have to find a new contribution. So to find a new contribution margin, we have to take the sales. This will be a long process. We have to take the sales figure So contribution margin is equal to what? Selling price minus variable costs. So we have the sales contribution margin. So contribution C equals what the sales figure. The sales is 153,000 minus
Please listen. Is the
56.7.
hello, sir? Sir,
Yeah.
please, is the contribution margin the same as contribution per unit?
Yes. So I'm finding the contribution margin. So I'm taking the total value.
Please,
I'm taking the total value.
right here. The contribution minus FC equal to what?
Where? What are you talking about?
After we find the sales minus contribution. After we find the contribution, you wrote something contribution minus FC equal.
Equals profits.
Oh, okay.
So we are almost done. Almost done. Let's finish this. So look, I'm using the other method, whether we get the same value. So contribution equals selling price minus variable cost. But we don't know the selling price. We know the selling price, but we don't know the variable cost per unit. So let's use the total figures. Let's use the total figures. And I'm saying for the total figures, we have 153,000 as the sales value. 153,000 as the sales value. Right? Where's the question? Where is it? We have 153,000 as the sales value minus, I think it's 25. This is. So minus the variable cost of 56,700. What do we have for the total contribution?
I'll be
153,000 minus 56,700. This is 56,700. What do we have?
I'll give you 96,300.
300.
So 96,300, right? And it says that assuming, now I find the contribution margin itself, assuming the production unit is still 18,000. So it will be 96,300. You are finding per unit. Divided by what? 18,000. What is the contribution margin?
Contribution margin is
5.35.
5.3 what?
5.
Is there any other thing we added?
No.
No.
Is it strict? Is it exactly 5.35?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
So that's the contribution margin. So we come to the quantity. The quantity should be still 18,000. Then the fixed cost is, the new fixed cost is 48,000. Plus, we don't know the target profit, all over 5.35. Are you good?
Mhm.
So we're going to have 5.35. $5.35 multiplied by 18,000 equals 48,000 plus the target profits. What do you have? That's our last week. So 5.35 times 18,000, what do we have?
96,300.
So we have 96,300 minus 48,000 equals the target profit. So what's the target profits?
48,300.
48,000.
300.
I'm seeing 48,300.
Yeah.
So you can see it's the same thing. The value here is the same value there. So whichever way you have it, you should be able to solve it. Okay. Now it says break even. Can't you solve it says break even point in value. Can't you solve the break even point in value?
We
we
can.
can.
It's here. So you just write it this way. BEP value. Value means is the sales value. I'm writing it in the brown. Equals just the FC, which we have, over the contribution margin, which we just solved. So I would have prepared this method anyway. The second one, times selling price straight away. Straight away. So we have the first cost to be what? What is the first cost? 48,000. Over the contribution margin is 5.35. The selling price is what? 8.5. So what is the break-even value? We are done. We are done. What's the break-even point in? What's the break-even point in value?
76,261.68.
76,200 and what?
61.
Points. The figure. That's it. Right. Now let's go to the last I. The E. This is I. This is I. This I. This. In applying the cost volume profit analysis for short-term decisions, as I said, it's always decision making. Certain assumptions are relevant. Enumerate such assumptions. So here they didn't say them, but in example they could say state 5. Then you go by what we did. Right? 1, the cost. You first start with the cost. It involves the cost comprises the fixed cost and variable cost. That is a 1. Then 2, you define what the fixed cost is. First talk about the cost. Second, 3, you define what the variable cost is. 4, you go to the volume. It can be used to analyze a single or multiple products at a time. That's the volume. I've spoken in the volume, the single multiple products at a time. 5, so that's the volume. 5, you talk about the profits. The only factor affecting profit is the volume. Then 6, you can talk about it assumes a linear function. It assumes a linear function. It's like a straight line because of the cost. Cost equals what? First cost plus variable cost. In our next meeting, I'll draw the graphs, 2 graphs for you to see how. Are you good? I'll draw 2 graphs. Are you good?
Please, where is the D starting from? It's like I'm not writing it. I can't even
Hold on.
Differentiate between
E or D?
D and E.
The D is from the previous. This E. These workings are for D. These all solutions are for the E. But some of them are alternative solutions, meaning I solved them twice.
Yes. So where is the D?
Okay, the D. Hold on. This is E. Where is D?
We didn't solve it.
Hey, we didn't solve the D.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Let's solve it. Then we close.
We solved E.
We solved E and C.
So what we are doing is the E. Oh,
what you are saying is
we'll get the recording.
So this is B.
I'm not done. So when you are solving, what we do is that we follow you. Okay. When you are solving, we follow you so that we don't mix in a step. If I'm
That's
writing alongside.
So we've solved B, C, and we jump to E. I didn't see the E. So let's solve the E. The D. Okay, let's solve the D. The D says find the sales revenue in value required to make a target profit of what? 80,000. It's very simple. So what comes to mind?
Target profit.
VP.
Good. Target, madam, be careful. It says profit. So you have to find a function which has a profit in it.
And which is the BP sales value times target profit, right?
Madam.
Plus.
Madam.
Plus
there's
the fixed cost plus target profit over. Okay.
But that's not BEP. So watch.
Yes, sir.
Look at this formula. Quantity equals fixed cost over the contribution margin plus the target profits. Now, in this function, we find the target profit. And it says sales revenue. This one I said it's talking about sales revenue. Sales revenue. Sales revenue. This is how many quantities do we sell to get that profit? And now it's talking about how much do you sell to get the profits. So there are two methods we can use. One, we can say the sales revenue equals this same FC over the CM plus the target profit times selling price, or the sales revenue equals the FC plus the target profits. These two guys here. Let me see whether you guys remember. These two guys. What can I use to represent both? Just there's one term I can use to represent both of them.
Contribution per unit.
The contribution
Yeah.
sales ratio.
Contribution to sales ratio. Good. So see this. That's all. So let me use the last one. You can try. So first, target profit is in this formula, which we have solved. But because it says sales revenue, means that when I use the first one, it's only the quantity units. Then I'll multiply by selling price. That's the second one. Or use the FC plus TP over sales ratio. So let me find the contribution to sales ratio. So here I can use the total contribution and total sales, or the contribution per unit, which is 5 points. What's the contribution per unit? With the new one. Okay, with the new changes. Hey, no, this one will be the old, right? This one will be the old. So let's see the old. What is the old contribution? Where do we start from? Here. What is the old one? What's the contribution per unit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Per unit.
5 units.
It's 5 cedis per unit. There's it. Watch the old. So the question is saying that we should find it. I should use the old contribution, not the new one, because the D we are solving for was there before the E, this D. So I should use the old contribution per unit, and the old contribution per unit is 5 cedis. And I'll take this. The selling price has still been the same. So I'll find the CS ratio. I'm solving for this. So the contribution margin over the selling price, or you can even use the sales. So what is the contribution margin? It was 5 cedis per unit, and the selling price is also 8.5 per unit. So what do we have? Let's be quick. What do we have? What?
5.8.
0.588.
0.588. Another one. Is 2 added?
Yes.
Well, I think we saw for it already.
Yes, we have.
We saw for it. I just realized it. What is it?
The one that we did, the 90 divided by.
It's here. So there's no need for us to resolve it. You see, when we use the per unit, what figure did we get? 0.5882. And when we use the total values,
Yes.
here, we got the same thing. So you can use the totals or the per unit. They all give you the same values. So if you solve for it, there's no need for me to solve for it again. So let me clear it because we don't have time.
Don't leave. It should be there. You've already written it. So.
Okay, that's fine. So let's go. Sales equals. But the issue is that this one, since we approximated a figure, you'll be getting a figure similar to what value I obtain if I were to use the first one. So sales equals, what is the first cost? The old first cost 40,000
thousand.
plus what is the target profit? 80,000
Okay.
divided by 0.5882. What do we have in all?
204,000.
204,000. That's it. Straightforward. Or we can use the first one, which is sales equals 40,000 plus 80,000 divided by contribution margin is what? 5 cedis. All these things are in cedis. Times the selling price of what? 8.5 cedis. What do you have?
Same thing.
Same thing. Whichever one, you'll be okay. That's the sales value. You are done.
204.
Oh, 204. Sorry. 204. There's only one question left. For the marginal cost and others, please. That one, we went through some of them yesterday. So just try your hands and put them together, and I'll inspect whether they are okay. That's fine. Okay, so we are done. We are done with.
Wait, so today you have solved all the cost volume questions?
Except one. I'll solve that one when we meet. I'll check the timetable. If I don't have any classes this evening, we will meet and we'll solve it. I think there are two more.
So please, are you uploading this video today?
Yeah, I'll upload it this morning. Yeah. We have this one.
Okay,
We've not solved this.
So that...
Let me show you. This one, it's a different strategy, so we have to solve it. Let me show you. Question 20B. Just look at it. This. See here, it says profit volume contributing to sales ratio. Right? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the same. You should know it. It's just like one of them. It says Abba Plastic Company produces plastic producers, but they didn't bring their production. They brought sales units. They brought the amounts. Very good. So you use the high and low method as well.
Okay.
Wait, what can you say? Solve this.
Are you getting it? Are you getting it?
Yes.
Use the high and low method. That's it. So let's end it. Because you are going to, I would have solved it, but you will have to go to work.
Yes.
All right. So we'll
Please
keep in touch.
I'll be waiting for the video.
All right. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You go to work. So let me finish it quickly.
So the class has ended, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it has ended.